today we are working with Tilly on recall, or coming when she's called. Good girl. And I have her on a leash. This is a training leash. It's about 20 feet long. That's a safety precaution, especially if you're going to practice outside and you don't have a fenced area. Because, of course, anytime you're outside and you have more important things to look at, you're not going to come when you're called, because the squirrel or whatever scent you've picked up or whatever it may be is more important to you and more fun. So when working on recall, you have to make it fun. You have to be upbeat, you have to be high energy, you have to be encouraging and always happy. So to get her started, I'm going to just start at a small distance. Come here, come on, girl, come here, come on. And she's used to laying around in here. Good girl, yes. As soon as she does start to come, you want to mark it with that yes and tell her, yeah, that's what I want. I want you to come to me. You ready? Come on, yes. Good girl. And then she gets to you, she gets her reward. You give a little more leash. Ready? Come. Good girl, yes. And she's catching on to what I want her to do. I dropped the treat and she went ahead and took that. That's okay. All right, ready? She's like, I'm going to just stay with you. Come on. And with come, when they start coming toward you, you're saying yes, you're encouraging them. A lot of times I'll run backwards to kind of encourage them to get all the way to you. If they're a greater distance away, then that come can turn into a detour. So she'll start coming toward you and then she'll be like, oh, a squirrel. So that's why you start at a close distance and you start in your house and everything else, because you want to kind of build to that longer distance, and we'll do a little bit of that outside later. Because come is an important one, very important. It takes some dogs a long time to really get to a point where they have a reliable recall. Come on. Good girl, come. Yes. I also recommend that you use a very high value treat when working on recall, because you want to make it extra special every time she comes. I, with my dogs, use cheese, and that cheese is something they never get otherwise, so that it has even more value to it. I want to keep it special so they never get cheese otherwise. So now when they hear come, they're like, oh, cheese. And that's the association they have, and so they come immediately for that. Good girl. Now another thing you can do is make a game out of coming. And this is something that'll be fun to do with kids, because kids always kind of get into it. There's a game called Touch. And what I do is I'm putting a treat in my hand between my fingers, and I'm going to put my hand up flat and I'm going to say, touch. Come here. Come on, touch. Come on, you can do it. Touch. She's not getting into the game as much as some dogs. Come on, baby. Touch. Yes. And as soon as her nose hits my hand, yes, I give her that treat. Then I'm going to put out a hand with no treat. Touch. Come on, touch. Touch. You can do it. Yes. I bump her on the nose. Touch. Yes. Good girl. Now you're getting into it. Come on, touch. Touch. Over here. I'm going to put another treat there just to reinforce it. Put it right to her nose. Pull away. Come on. No, you got to get up. Come on. Touch. Yes. Good girl. Ready? Come here. Touch. Touch. Over here. Yes. Good. So she starts to really get into the game of touch. Then basically what happens is you say come, she doesn't come. Then you start saying touch instead. And she's like, ooh, the fun game that we play. So she starts associating it with a good time that she can have with her people. Good job. So touch is one game. Another one is, of course, monkey in the middle. If you have 2 or more people, you start off about 5-6 feet apart, and everybody has treats, and you start calling her to you, and each time she comes, she has to sit and get her reward, and she comes to the next person, and so forth. The more people you have, the better, because then she's not anticipating who's calling next. If it's just two people, she knows who's gonna be calling her the next time, and a lot of times they'll start to go before you've even called them. But if you have 3, 4, or 5 people, you have more options of where she has to go when she's called. And then she gets kind of used to, oh, as soon as somebody says to come, here's what I'm supposed to do. You start off at a short distance, and then each time you take another step back and another step back, so that she gets to a point where coming when called is like instant, and she has no question. She just comes. So, and that it's a short lesson for today, because recall is something that you have to also practice when opportunity presents itself. Again, if she is not coming, make sure that distance is a little bit shorter. You might have to go a little more to her, up that energy, up the reward, and then see if you can get her to come to you. And always practice with the safety.
Yes, good girl. Oh, belly rubs for that.